Testing? Yep. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It's really been a while since we have such a large-scale in-person industry event, and ITAP 2021 is really a momentous occasion to bring everyone, the startups, the investors, our partners with a common interest and passion for Industry 4.0 together, to witness and celebrate the milestones that our players in the I 4.0 ecosystem have achieved, despite the very challenging environment. And for this afternoon, we will witness the soft launch of Let Lab Incubator and participate in the exciting Dear Friday session. Let me just say that the I 4.0 movement has been gaining momentum in Singapore in the past few years, as more companies now realize how the digital and physical can and will converge in every industrial sector. And with the current COVID-19 pandemic, I think early adopters of I 4.0 will have been more likely to enjoy the agility, flexibility, and manufacturing efficiency to cope with supply chain and manpower disruptions to their manufacturing operations. As such, instead of taking a pause in the I 4.0 manufacturing transformation journey, amidst this COVID-19, I think it's important for companies to actually double down on their efforts and emerge stronger from this crisis. It is our intent for Singapore to be a resilient, advanced manufacturing base in ASEAN. And it is a whole of government effort to support companies in Singapore in their I 4.0 transformation journey. And to help companies determine where and how to start this journey, EDB has rolled out the Smart Industry Readiness Index. The Workforce Singapore Industry 4.0 Human Capital Initiative, or IHCI in short, equip companies with people, management, and job redesign skills for the I 4.0 transformation. At Enterprise Singapore, we have supported over 2,300 transformation projects in the manufacturing sector just from January to August 2021 this year, a 73% increase in the number of projects as compared to the same period last year. Just this morning, the Precision Engineering Industry Digital Plan, a roadmap jointly developed by IMDA, Enterprise Singapore, and SPETA to guide PE firms to understand their business digital majority, was launched. And with this new plan, we can expect even more local SMEs to undertake digitalization projects. As we see increasing demand for I 4.0 solutions in Singapore and globally, we also want to grow more solution providers and encourage new entrants to deliver new products in domains such as AI, IoT, AR/VR, robotics, and additive manufacturing. As such, we are excited to work with partners like Let Lab. Established in Israel, Let Lab is an I 4.0 incubator and innovation lab and has supported more than 150 startups since 2017. Let Lab's parent is Ultra Clean Holdings, a global manufacturer and supplier of semiconductor equipment. Let Lab Singapore will offer an incubation program and test bidding opportunities for early-stage startups, and selected startups will be offered access to Let Lab's facilities and partner networks. Given Let Lab's track record and I 4.0 expertise, Enterprise Singapore is delighted to partner them in our efforts to grow the I 4.0 community in Singapore and boost the local advanced manufacturing ecosystem. And I thank Agmon and his team for having confidence in Singapore and congratulate them on the soft launch today. In nurturing a vibrant ecosystem, it is also important to help startups secure their next stage of investment. Since the launch of Dear Friday by Enterprise Singapore in 2019, we have facilitated over 650 connections between startups and potential investors and corporates. So similarly today, Dear Friday this afternoon is a platform for our local industry 4.0 startup investors and corporates to forge investment deals, co-innovation opportunities, and business partnerships. And I'm proud to have 9 of our own promising I 4.0 startups here with us today. Despite the various challenges during COVID-19, these startups have continued to display resilience and growth. They have made significant preparations to show all of us what they have in store, so let us look forward to their fundraising pitches later. Growing the I 4.0 ecosystem involves all of us the government, large corporates, investors, startups, all of us will come together in order to ensure the success of the local ecosystem. And Enterprise Singapore looks forward to working with all of you, in particular with new partners like Let Lab Singapore. Congratulations once again to UCT and Let Lab on the launch. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lingwan, for that sharing. Next up, we have Mr. Agmon Porat, CEO and Head of Industry 4.0 Lab of Let Lab, to share about their plans and programs with us. Agmon, please.
Thank you so much. Let me just put this here. So my name is Agmon Porat. I'm leading an innovation arm called Let Lab. I actually flew all the way, did many tests, right, and quarantine and everything to give you this slide. Right? Our vision is to invest in Singaporean entrepreneurs in the deep tech industry. Okay, we want to shape the future together with entrepreneurs here from Singapore, and we're going to invest in them and help them grow together with a real parents, a real manufacturing company. That's the main mission I wanted to give. So let me tell you who is it we and what is it that we want to give. So as we mentioned, we are the innovation wing under UCT. UCT is a global, one of the fastest growing OEMs of gas boxes for the semiconductor and ultra clean industry, displays and others. We are located in more than 17 countries with manufacturing facilities who are a real playing ground for the entrepreneurs, right? We have more than 6,000 employees worldwide, and we are a very strong player in the semiconductor industry. What we do, as mentioned, is the full gas box, design and manufacturing from the small component, metal component, all the way to the gas box, and post-services from cleaning and coating and other locations. In Singapore itself, we have a very strong presence. Why did we decide to open an innovation lab here in Singapore? We already operate an innovation lab in Israel, capital of innovation. Why Singapore? Well, Singapore is very important for us. It's an Asia center for us. Our chief operating officer of all UCT sits here in Singapore because this is how important the operation is here. We have thousands of square feet manufacturing rooms and clean rooms and facilities to help the startups and find the innovations. And many of our customers sit here as well. So this is a little bit about UCT Singapore. We also have the head of the industry 4.0, Jaya. He's here as well. And it allows us to work together with the startups and fields that are strategic interest for us, with the right people in the right location. A little bit about our experience. So I mentioned we already operated a lab. We have experience in building communities from the events, relationships. It's people, everything is all people. But we have the experience already in Israel and working specifically in the field of Industry 4.0. Investing in companies in the field of robotics, AI, flow, augmented reality, and also the people who are running the labs, usually, like myself, are entrepreneurs themselves. Know the startup, know the entrepreneurs, know what is driving them, and we can help them. And our statistics for the startups helping them is bigger than others, because we usually connect all the startups that you see here, we connected their first customers. We help them with advice about what is the right product market fit. We map the industry. This is a map we did for Israel. First of all, this is the map of all the startups, and there are some insights that we can take out of it, but this is not the point of the talk. The point is that we map the industry. Having an innovation lab is basically going to build an ecosystem, and we are calling here for partners as well in the launch. Right? It's from the startups themselves all the way to enablers, from VCs, technology enablers. I already saw here companies like ST Micron or Microsoft or Amazon. We are going, and we did it in Israel as well, partnering with a specific technology, academic institute, anything that can support the startups and the entrepreneurs, giving them credits on the cloud, giving them robots, giving them hardware to run on it. So part of building an ecosystem here in Singapore means that we will go ahead and start signing agreements with potential partners. And we're calling here for partners. Please join us. Please contact us. We already started to map a little bit of Singapore's ecosystem. We definitely noticed that there are a lot of supporting and funding industries, right? And there's a lot of enablers, which is great. We still didn't enter in Singapore, and I imagine this map is lacking a lot of startups that are already here in Singapore. And I'm using this launch to call you, contact us, add us. You know, we want to add you to this list. We want to continue and find solutions that would help you and partners that would help you. Okay, and I'm calling the supporters and enablers to engage with us and partner. Why startups, okay? And why should us as a corporate work with startups? Startups, they love risk. They really love risk, okay? They pivot fast. They run fast. But they definitely require a strategic partner. They want to understand how their customers are really going to use their products, how much they're really willing to pay for it, how much of a big pain it solves them, okay? And they cannot do it alone. They have to have the corporate, which usually doesn't like to work with startups. On the other hand, corporates, they dislike change. They don't like innovation. Don't change what I'm doing. I run this machine X amount of time, don't bother me. Okay, they don't like changes, corporates. But they need to see what's the outer trends. Who's going to kill them? Who's going to eat them? Right? They need to be focused. How can they be more attractive and provide more value for their customers with using the startups? And we have vast expertise, and we have access to the network, so we can work together. Specifically, the value proposition that we offer the startups is, first of all, have a strategic partner, somebody that cares about what you're doing and can guide you, okay, and can help you expand. Secondly, the technological support. We have a playing ground, a real playing ground with labs, with engineers, with expertise in the specific domain area of that startup. Right? And we can help as well, from advice and from parts. And then we have access to the network. We have customers, we have suppliers. When a startup goes to a company, a large corporate, they fear from the small startup, as I mentioned before. But if a large corporate comes to them with a solution, it's better. So they're using our credibility as well, and that helps the startup. Now, we provide value for the startups right from the start, because we examine a variety of ideas. Right? And then we are working with champions internally that evaluate those ideas. Because how do we know if an idea is good or not? We want the internal champion, either from our company or sister company or supplier, to tell us if this is a good solution. How is it good? When the startup, we invest in him, would somebody support him later, would use this technology? This is good both for us and both for the startup, and it's part of the due diligence. Eventually, along the time, we will evaluate the team, we'll evaluate the technology, we will evaluate the uniqueness, and we'll reach terms and agreement and write a deal. Right? Checking the team, the technology. This is what we're looking for in general. The point of the slide is that we're going to see in the top much more startups than we'll see here. And the startup passing through it gains it, because he wants to show to others, and I'm sure here in the pitch, we'll see pictures of startups in real environments. And he gets that the startup even if we don't invest in him. So it provides value for startups right from the start. What is it that we're going to invest in? Okay, I don't want to talk a lot about it, because the future is unclear. Right? And a lot of the areas that we started to invest in were the future 3 years ago, we now see them common here, from vision, robotics, AI, and so on. But we're going to invest in anything that is deep technology that we can implement both in our manufacturing facilities or for our customers. Okay, so it's usually going to be a high barrier entry where we can provide value for the startups. So if we can provide value, hey, let's use our lab, let's use our clean rooms, we can evaluate your thing, then it's relevant. If it's, let's say, I don't know, gaming, going completely away, how can we help you in gaming? So we cannot. Okay, we have some time. I wanted to show you some examples. What we're seeing here is the entrepreneur. We're seeing the facility manager of this specific building, the guy who's usually giving instructions and teaches new employees how to operate this, multi-million-dollar machine, the CNC, and then there's the operator itself, the regular operator. And we have the chance to see what the real people are saying about the solution. The person who's giving the instructions and tutorial, can he actually use this technology? What does he think about it? And the startups, this is completely valuable for him. He came from the industry, but completely different. He wants to see the value inside the real people. I want to show you another example of two physicists. Okay, a lab can also forge ideas. Many people think about startups as something that existed, they raise $1 million and then they start. But it's not true, right? Idea starts with zero money, long work, hard work, then little bit money, then long work, hard work, then little bit money. And it's always difficult. And what we see here is two physicists working on a problem, which is those valve, control valve, especially you know this from Jerome Island and other locations, when they malfunction, you go ahead and fix it, right? But then there's huge damages. A factory can blow up. There's $1 billion of damages every year from oil leaks in other locations. And this startup, they got the valve. They're called Phononia. Okay, so they are, just like photons are for light, phonons are particles of sound. And they're using sound on the edge, right, to see inside the valve and have AI on the edge analyze it. And it's just like you're having an expert in the field. They want to tap this $80 billion market of monitoring those valves. Okay, today everybody's sitting and having an AI and putting their electronics, and a human, not AI, relay is analyzing it, right? It's going to be replaced with solutions like Phononia. And that startup started with nothing. It started and went up. It started with a problem. We gave them tools from STMicroelectronics. We gave them valves from a refinery and said, prove a concept. We're not going to pay you even for it if you want. But if you prove the concept and it's working, then you might maybe get another $300,000 and then let's start building it. And we'll help you with the first customers. That's what we did with them, and they already implemented it in a refinery in Israel. And suddenly now those valves get knowledge, state of the art eventually, because it's active acoustics with AI in the edge to analyze them. The customer and you know, the network were happy to utilize this technology, and we were happy as well. Here's some more examples. This is an AI company, Vision for Robotics. What they're doing is providing with a simple camera, very cheap camera, 3D imaging solution. Okay, it's different from what you're going to see in the future, has different needs. We're using it for bin picking, or to see how it comes out from the factory, or put parts inside the machine before Vision was popular in there. What you saw in the video, I think this video here, what I think is nice about it is that you see the workers. You see the entrepreneur working with their robot inside the factory. What are they thinking of, right? What bothers them? Is the fear of robotics really true in the worker or not? We have the opportunity to ask the worker, you know, I'm taking this video, and later on I talk with these guys. And the entrepreneur can really, does it work with oil? Does it work with this lighting? Does it work with a variety of other solutions? And I think this is a good explanation. This is an example of a startup we forged, okay? So we have a need an actuator for the semiconductor market. We know there's a gap there. We worked with entrepreneur. We actually only this month they started to get funding. In the past year, they worked on the complete concept, 3D printed the parts, proved in our labs that it's working, convinced internally that, hey, we would want to use it, and only then we went ahead on it. Summarizing, we're launching a lab here in Singapore because we believe in Singapore. We have a very strong presence here. This could be a gateway for us to Asia. We believe in the Singaporean entrepreneurs. We've been working closely with Singaporean entrepreneurs for several years. Partner with us. We're going to build a very strong Industry 4.0 ecosystem here. Thank you.